Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, completely alert, mind quietly drifting, only to feel like something is wrong because you're not sleeping straight through? It feels like a glitch, like your body didn't follow the rules. But what if that interruption isn't a mistake at all? What if not too long ago, this exact pattern was actually the normal way humans slept? Today we will uncover the forgotten rhythm of human rest and why waking up at night used to be part of a perfectly natural cycle, right here on History of Simple Things. For most of us today, sleep is supposed to be one long, uninterrupted stretch. We aim for 7 to 8 hours, lights off, eyes closed, and no waking up until morning. If we do wake up, especially in the middle of the night, it often feels like something is wrong: stress, insomnia, or too much screen time. But for much of human history, sleep didn't work that way at all. Instead, people followed a pattern known as segmented sleep, broken into two distinct phases: the first sleep and the second sleep. This idea might sound strange at first, but it's backed by real historical evidence. In fact, historian Roger Ekirch spent years studying old texts, diaries, court records, and literature from pre-industrial Europe. What he found was surprisingly consistent. People regularly referred to a first sleep and a second sleep as if it were completely ordinary, because it was. These weren't poetic phrases or rare habits, they were part of everyday life. So how exactly did this sleep pattern work? Typically, people would go to bed a few hours after sunset, often around 8 or 9 in the evening. With no artificial lighting, nights were long and dark, especially in winter. After a few hours of sleep, what we now call the first sleep, they would naturally wake up sometime around midnight. But instead of tossing and turning, trying to force themselves back to sleep, they would simply stay awake. This quiet period, usually lasting 1 to 2 hours, was not seen as a problem. In fact, it was often used in surprisingly meaningful ways. Some people would pray or reflect, taking advantage of the stillness of the night. Others might read by candlelight, write in journals, or even visit neighbors. In some records, people would do small household tasks, mending clothes, tending to fires, or preparing for the next day. There's also evidence suggesting that this in-between period was sometimes used for social or intimate activities. Couples might talk, connect, or spend time together in ways that felt natural in the calm of midnight. It was a space in the day that wasn't rushed or noisy, something we rarely experience now. After this period of wakefulness, people would return to bed for their second sleep, which would carry them through until morning. Altogether, the total amount of sleep wasn't necessarily shorter than what we aim for today. It was just divided differently. So why did humans sleep this way? A big part of it comes down to light. Before electricity, the setting of the sun dictated much of daily life. Darkness wasn't something you could easily push back against. Candles and oil lamps existed, but they were expensive and dim. Most people couldn't afford to stay up late every night surrounded by artificial light, so naturally they went to bed earlier. And because the night was so long, sleep became segmented. But there's also a biological angle to this. Some modern sleep studies suggest that when people are removed from artificial lighting and exposed only to natural light cycles, they tend to fall into a similar pattern. In controlled experiments, participants who spent weeks without electric light began to develop two distinct sleep periods, separated by a calm waking phase in the middle of the night. Their bodies seemed to rediscover this older rhythm on their own. During that nighttime waking period, something interesting happens inside the brain. The body produces lower levels of stress hormones and higher levels of prolactin, a hormone associated with relaxation and calmness. This creates a peaceful, almost meditative state. It's very different from the anxious frustration many people feel today when they wake up at night and think they should be asleep. In other words, waking up in the middle of the night might not be unnatural, it might just feel that way because modern life has trained us to expect something different. So, what changed? The shift away from segmented sleep didn't happen overnight. It was gradual, tied closely to the rise of artificial lighting and the Industrial Revolution. As cities grew and technology advanced, nights became brighter. Street lights, gas lamps, and eventually electric bulbs extended the day far beyond sunset. People started going to bed later, compressing their sleep into a shorter window. At the same time, work schedules became more rigid. Factories and offices required people to wake up at specific times, often early in the morning. There was less flexibility to follow natural rhythms. Sleep had to fit neatly into a single block to match the demands of a structured, industrialized society. Over time, the idea of uninterrupted sleep became the standard. Waking up in the middle of the night started to be seen as a disruption rather than a normal phase. Medical perspective shifted too, labeling nighttime wakefulness as insomnia instead of recognizing it as a possible leftover of an older sleep pattern. But even today, traces of segmented sleep still show up. Many people naturally wake up around 2 or 3 in the morning, especially during periods of low stress or when their schedules are less strict, like during vacations. Others find that if they stop checking the time or worrying about being awake, that middle-of-the-night period becomes surprisingly calm and even enjoyable. So the next time you wake up in the middle of the night and find yourself staring into the darkness, wide awake, don't be too quick to panic. You might not be broken. You might just be experiencing a rhythm that humans followed for centuries, one that quietly disappeared as the modern world took over. And in that stillness, you might even find something we've lost along the way, a moment of genuine quiet, untouched by the noise of the day. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.